But a 38-year-old man with no physical disabilities and no dependents, no financial responsibilities at all, no. I mean, you need to make your own net at that point. Like, this is just another example of suicidal empathy, that we've allowed this kind of thing to happen, that we've allowed this kind of person to exist, right? This kind of person should not exist. Not that he should be dead. I'm saying this is like a grown man, able-bodied, who just doesn't work, right? That is not that he's like temporarily unemployed. Again, that's people become unemployed, they lose their jobs. That's one thing. He just doesn't work. Like, that's just not part of his life. Working is not something that he does. It's not part of his life. It's a lifestyle choice to not work. And that should not exist in a functional society. That should not be an option.
That was Matt Walsh of the Daily Wire complaining about a 38-year-old man who seems to be able-bodied, not working, and getting $300 a month from food stamps. Now, we know that the right loves to beat up on these people. They love to use them to justify cutting welfare, to say, oh, look, you won't even work? Come on. I mean, you're checked out of society. You just expect the government to pick up all your tabs. What's wrong with you? We need to get rid of the welfare state as a whole. That's what a lot of these people would say, or at least have a very minimal welfare state. And so Matt Walsh says, this guy shouldn't exist. This guy shouldn't exist. Not that he should be dead, but it shouldn't just happen that you don't work in society. Now, here's the thing. He's going to go on to say that he actually thinks that, oh, if you don't work, you deserve to not eat, basically. And what happens when you don't eat? But then he also says, oh, you need to work. You need to work. There are plenty of people who don't even work, and they just live off inheritances. Plenty of people who basically don't work, like work a few hours a week and make six figures. So where's your ire for those people? You, sir, are a podcaster who makes six figures sitting in an air-conditioned studio, complaining about people, complaining about society, complaining about culture, saying, look at the movies got so much worse since 2008, complaining about Valentine's Day cards that coworkers give to each other. For crying out loud, you're not really working when you get down to it. So no, this guy does not get to call people out for not working. This guy does not get to say, oh, it shouldn't exist that someone doesn't work. But then he's going to give away the whole ball game that he really doesn't want people who don't work to exist. He thinks if you don't work, you deserve to die. If you're unemployed, you deserve to die. That is his opinion. Check this out.
It's a lifestyle choice to not work. And that should not exist in a functional society. That should not be an option. You know, this is where 2 Thessalonians applies, right? If you won't work, you won't eat. This is where it applies for guys like Nelson. You know, for when we were with you, we gave you this rule: the one who will not work will not eat. You know, paraphrasing 2 Thessalonians. And this is you know, settle down and earn the food you eat, right? And this is what it applies to. Okay.
So he's going on citing scripture to justify the idea that poor people who don't work deserve to starve to death. That's what he's saying, really. And I know he said, oh, I don't think that people who don't work should be dead. But then he's saying, oh, if you don't work, you don't eat. What happens when you do not eat, sir? You die. You starve to death eventually. So don't pretend you don't want people dead. No, you think that if poor people don't work, they deserve to die. Plain and simple. And I'm saying poor people and not rich people because rich people don't need to work. People like Matt don't need to work. He could just retire and he'd be fine. You know, and he could sit there and not even work and be like, well, poor people who don't work are terrible people who don't deserve to eat. But when I don't work, I'm cool and special and I can take all these vacations with my 6 kids and it's all cool. So really, it's just classism. This is ugly, vicious classism disguised as, you know, morality or, you know, toughness. Like, oh, you just need to work. You need to toughen up and work. It's just part of life. Except for my life. I just get to sit in my studio and scream and moan about the culture declining or something like that. So do not let these people gaslight you into thinking that they care about people, that they are telling it like it is, that, oh yeah, no, I've got empathy. I just don't have suicidal empathy. No, here's the thing. It's empathy to say that even if you've checked out of society and you're not working, that might not be the best lifestyle choice, but you still deserve to eat. That's empathy. Suicidal empathy is a total straw man on your part. Your position is zero empathy, and in fact, it's downright hatred and contempt to say, you didn't work, so it's totally fine if like you starve to death, you know, because the Bible's on my side. The Bible's on my side. No, it doesn't work that way. You don't just get to cite the Bible to get out of being a decent human being, man. So yeah, if you check out of society, if you're struggling, if you can't work, I hope that you are able to recover. I hope that you are able to be more of a productive member of society. But for crying out loud, you don't deserve to starve to death. Don't listen to people like this. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like, comment, or subscribe to the channel, and thank you for watching.